Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone join on this very important call, join this meeting. Thank you so much for making time to be here with us. I'm very, very, very excited to be here for different reasons, and shortly I'll get to that. But we would love to know those on the call. Put your name, tell us where you're connecting from, make an ally, make a friend, network with somebody, say hello to somebody as we still take our colleagues, our friends, our future business partners, our impact makers as they join in some minutes. So let's connect. Let's say hello. We'll be reading your messages. If you say hi to me, I'll say hi to you. I know you don't know my name yet. I'll mention that shortly. So you say I'll read it out and we will have a wonderful time this moment. I'm tempted to always say this evening, but I'm conscious of the fact that a lot of people are connecting around the world and the time zones are different. So yes, we'll take that as we are connected. So I'll read from the screen and then I'll see that. I see someone joining from Kenya. Thank you so much. That's like three hours from now. It's around 9 p.m. Thank you for making the time. Thank you for joining. I see Nigeria, I see Ghana, I see Portia from Ghana. Thank you so much. We're happy to have you here. We're definitely going to have an interesting conversation. I see someone from Togo. I see Algeria. Interesting participants. We're happy to have you here. And this is one of the many things Drive to Inspire is doing to empower the future, to empower talent, to help people of the continent. We are happy to host another monthly webinar for our beloved guests. So I'll wait about 5 minutes as we still connect. Sarah from Zambia, thank you for joining. Jabiru from Somalia, interesting. Thank you for joining. We appreciate you being here. I see we have a very punctual and then lively audience. Some people joined far back as an hour ago. We appreciate that. Flora from Ghana, we see you, and thank you for making the time. I'm itching for today's topic. I'm very, very, very interested in it. One more so because of the topic, and then because of who is delivering today's topic. I have some things I'll say as we go on. I'm Mary from France. Oh, thank you for joining. Ajwa Aram from Ghana. Gloria from Tanzania. We're having a global meeting then. Drive to Inspire. Thank you for convening this. It's a global conversation. So as I was saying, Drive to Inspire organizes monthly webinars for our cherished audience. We have a good number of people joining in, new people as we go along. We have people patronizing over the period. And this is one of the many ways Drive to Inspire is contributing their quota to empowering tomorrow's workforce, empowering tomorrow's people, changing mindsets, creating better futures, and then closing the gap in so many ways. We are grateful to Drive to Inspire for always blazing the trail, to Nanadra and her wonderful team. We are grateful for the work you're doing. In about a minute, I will stop the shout outs. I see that we are still lively there. I see Manal from Morocco. He says, hello, everyone. Hello to you too. And another person from Kenya, Brenda. I'll come back and try your surname. We have Glory from Tanzania. Amazing people. I would shortly go into the go into the etiquette, what we need to observe for the meeting. Then I'll introduce our wonderful speaker, our powerful speaker, someone I admire so much. And life has its way of bringing people one step closer. And I'm happy to be the host in this occasion. You can get from the fact that I'm so excited to have her on. So for today's webinar, meeting, conversation, I like to treat it as a global convergence of people that are changing the world, an impact meeting. We should make it lively, irrespective of the time you're connecting from. Use the reaction emotions, react, applaud, clap. If you have something to say, you can jot it down wherever way you want. Use the Q&A text box, put your question in there. We'll definitely come to that. We will communicate with you through the chat box. We will send things there, but the Q&A is yours. Put your questions there, put your contributions there. We want to have a lovely and a lively time. We know we believe in our audience. I will not say too much, and let's have that. I see the reactions already going. People are celebrating. People are happy to be here. I love the excitement. It's contagious, and we will have that throughout. So for those who are asking what my name is I'm Bernard Selikem Japasu. I volunteer for Drive to Inspire. Happy with the work that we are doing, and I'm happy to be here. I'll borrow the words of one of my friends. Says that anytime we're about to do something very important, we go for a meeting or we're about to listen in on a webinar or something we're all learning, the person sits at the edge of their seat and they say, I am sat for this one. I'm looking for something that is more than that. I'm more than sat for this, because personally, our speaker for tonight, our guest who is taking us through their journey, who is sharing part of their lives with us, and on the topic is somebody that I admire so much, somebody whose charisma, somebody whose presence, somebody whose power, somebody whose eloquence, somebody whose intelligence, and somebody whose entertainment gets a hook on me. And I'm happy to for her to take us through her mind, to tell us how she's built that. It's something that's not gotten over just a minute or over this, something that she's carefully curated over the years. And I'm happy to want to learn from that. And that's the same passion that I'm hoping that we all join this with. Someone says one way to cut your journey short is to ask somebody coming from that area. So I'm somebody who's began to speak, doing speaking engagements and all that. And I'm so happy to have her share her journey with me. And I learn from her more than she would imagine. Even sometimes how she gesticulates when she speaks, when she sits down to host people, to contribute to on different panels. I somebody I admire so much. I would read a summary of her profile. If I was to tell you everything she's done, I will exhaust while we are here. So I'll read a summary, and I hope that it does us a good amount of work to introduce her before she takes over. So our guest today is Anita Erskine. She's a globally recognized strategic communications leader. She's an international moderator. She's a media entrepreneur whose work sits at the intersection of policy, business, innovation, and socioeconomic transformation. One of the many hats she wears is the executive director of Erskine Global Communications. She convenes and moderates high-level dialogue for global institutions. Just to mention a few, we have United Nations System, World Bank Group, African Union, European Union, and all the other unions you can think of. There are a lot more there. And she holds dialogue for multinational corporations worldwide. She has more than 2 decades of experience and over 700 high-impact global convenings across Africa, Asia, Europe, the Middle East, and North America. She is the official host of Africa's Business Heroes, the flagship philanthropic initiative of the Jack Ma Foundation. where she plays a key role in amplifying the voices and stories of Africa. And that's one thing that you see in her trajectory. She's moved beyond, she's now illuminating other people. If you check her newspaper on LinkedIn, if you follow that closely, every month she's illuminating something. It's either a characteristic of Africa that's for the future, or a person that is blazing the trail. I can go on and on personally and what I'm reading, but I want to summarize and give her the chance to speak. I also say she has a bright smile to always lighten the room in any of them she steps in. She has a master's in communications management from McMaster University in Canada and has been recognized amongst the 100 most influential women in Africa. That's a really, really good and great record. Thank you so much, Anita, for being with us today. We are honored, we are happy, we are excited, and we love that you're spending time with us to walk us through your mind and your journey and to help us build wonderful careers as you've done. Thank you so much.
Well, Bernard, thank you so much. I mean, I could get used to how you've hyped me. I mean, would you just like to just perch yourself at my front gate? So every morning when I wake up, just say all the things that you said. It'll make my day. Thank you. Bernard, thank you so much. And thank you enormously to Drive to Inspire. It is, let me just be very simple and straightforward. It is the honor of my life, the honor of my existence to serve my continent through its youth, through its women, through its men, through its organizations, through its efforts, even through its complications. Bernard said something so beautifully. He talked about my smile and then my charisma and then my energy. And all these things that, you've described, Bernard, are just examples of how I feel each day. Sincerely, how I feel when I get on the stage, when I know the conversation is designed to uplift or to move the continent forward. How I feel when I have to interact with people from across the continent. As you've said, we've got Tanzania, we've got Algeria, we've got, I think it was even France. I don't know, I think we have even Russia. How I feel having to interact with people from around the world, share what I have, which, by the way, I'm trying to figure out every single day. So, don't let all of this fool you. Don't let the bio fool you. Every single day I wake up is another opportunity to try and figure out things, to try and figure out how to be better, to try and figure out how to be more, to do more. And then perhaps as an introduction also, why I do what I do with you. I cannot see all of you. I cannot, hear all of you, but trust me, even though we are divided by the internet, I can feel your spirit. And I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are. I don't know what you're going through. I'm not God, so I cannot see, your highs and your lows, but I can tell you something. As an individual trying so hard to pursue a dream, no matter what the dream may be, trying so hard to latch onto an ambition, no matter what the ambition may be, trying so hard to have in your sight and in your view a way forward, a design for your destiny. I feel you. I don't see you, I don't hear you, but I feel you. And I feel you because we are all the same, all of us. Don't worry about how high somebody has gone. Don't worry about what it seems somebody has that you don't have. Don't worry about, the fancier things they seem to have that you are just aspiring to have. We are all very much the same. We're all on this journey trying to make sense of the decisions that we are having to make every day. We're all on this journey because none of us wants to be at the back. We all want to be at the front, trying so hard to have our voices heard in every room, even when we are intimidated. We're all trying very hard to be something, to mean something, whether it's to our families, to our parents, to our children, to our colleagues, to our employees, We're all trying very hard to mean something. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will say this again. It is an honor, my honor of a lifetime, to be in the position where I can serve you by sharing whatever I can, however I can, whenever I can. So, Bernard, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. And you see what I said. She's not even gotten into it. See the introduction. The introduction. And you can see one thing I'll say about this, the presence you carry. There's one thing with Anita, after you engage her, after you engage with something about her, if you don't remember verbatim everything she said, you remember the presence. You remember something about the communication. You are moved from just listening to doing. And I feel that's a skill that I personally am trying to hone. So when I come in touch with somebody who's doing that, I have my eye focused on how you get. And then she said something in the end. And I tell you, she does it beautifully intelligent. Said, whenever, however, and whatever way I can do it, I'm going to do it. And you see, those are things that live with us after there's so many things she'll say. So Anita, please, you have the stage. I'm sat, like my friend will say, and we are here to get from that. The reactions from the comment sections too is people are saying that what a lady, people are inspired, and that came definitely. There's one lady that I say she's so inspired by you. She's amazed by even the introduction alone. It's got her so interested. She's happy, and she's wanting to learn. Clearly from that comment. So over to you, and we are here to learn leadership and professional presence. Thank you
Thank
once
you so
again
much.
for being here.
Thank you so much, Bernard. And I hope you can all hear me. Pardon me, I'm battling a bit of a cold, but I said, the devil is a liar. I shall show up for my continent above and beyond. My dear Anne, if you can just project my presentation and if you can help me to navigate it. And while you project it, this conversation, my wonderful ladies and gentlemen and Africans and allies, is on leadership and professional presence, the power of your voice. And I'm so sure that when you may have seen the poster that said leadership and professional presence, perhaps you thought I was going to talk about you showing up in a power suit and you showing up in a coordinator tie and you showing up with the best, most exhilarating and flamboyant socks. All of that is important. But today I want to talk to you about the power of your voice. When I think about the voice, I honestly think about ownership. What is it that when you stop and imagine your voice can do, you say to yourself? Now, because we're online, I'm just going to ask you 15 seconds. I'm going to be quiet for 15 seconds. Reflect. When I say you own your voice, what does it mean? Does it mean I own how it sounds? Does it mean I own what I'm saying? What truly does it mean? Let this question sink in for only 15 seconds. Five seconds to go. Three, two, one. In the comments section, any one of you and my team over on the Drive to Inspire side, you may help me to read some of them out. When I say own your voice, what does it mean to you? No answer, no response, no contribution is wrong. So please put it in the chat. Let's see what it says. Bernard, are you going to help me to read some of them out?
Yes, I'm going to help you read them out.
Let's read out three of them, if we have three. Go ahead, please, Bernard.
No, this This comment just came in. So we are waiting for them. I see people. So Anita, please, I'll say please re-echo the question so people get it.
No problem at all. So when I say owning your voice, what do you think it means? Does owning your voice mean I own what I say? I own how it sounds? When I ask you what owning your voice means, what does it mean to you? That's the question.
Prince says it means taking responsibility for his words.
Thank you.
Another person says speaking your opinion, for your opinion counts and it matters. Another person saying you are responsible for what you say.
Mhm.
And I think another is it means I'm authentic to what I believe. And
Beautiful.
owning my voice, Miriam says, means owning my narrative.
Mhm.
Another person saying it means speaking with confidence.
Okay. Last
Another
one.
is saying it means staying true to what they believe. Some three more. Let me do that quickly, please. I understand to be that I can do anything I want to do as far as I don't give up on. That's owning their voice.
Beautiful.
And the last one is staying true to myself.
Wonderful. So you all have an understanding of a variation of what your voice means. And I love that no two answers or maybe no three answers are the same because it takes us into this moment where we each have this very dynamic and very different way of seeing what our voice means. Let's go up. My question to you is, if your voice were to disappear tomorrow, what influence would disappear with it? Like I said in the beginning, I don't know who you are, I don't know where you are, but if your voice were to disappear tomorrow, if you walked into the room and you were not allowed to speak, if you sat at a table and you were not allowed to contribute, if you were part of a group and you were not allowed to utter a word, what influence would go out with it? You see, I ask you this question because I need you to come back and understand one thing. Leadership is never simply about what you are saying. Leadership is about the courage to express what you're saying. You can even express what you're saying with a smile. You can express what you're saying with your shoulder work, literally. I know people who they don't talk much, but just by looking at how their shoulders move, you know that they either disapprove or approve. The thing about the leadership voice or leadership and your voice is it makes people not only remember what you're saying, it compels people to believe in you. It inspires trust. It inspires direction. When you speak, people around you will not only say, wow, he trusts or she trusts himself in what she or he is saying, but they say, wow, they are well versed in what they're saying, and it shows, their confidence shows, their conviction shows in what they're saying. And so I am in the position to trust them. Why does your voice matter? Somebody will say, but Anita, we're talking about leadership. Why are we not talking about the voice? Because the voice is a channel. Leadership is never about speaking louder. Leadership is never about being the one that always puts their hand up and says, hey, you know what? I have something to say. Leadership, and I'm happy a number of you submitted this when we asked about the ownership of the voice. Leadership is about clarity. Can you hear what I'm saying? Are you listening to what I'm saying? Is what I'm saying seeping in? Am I clear in my thoughts and how they're being channeled out to you? Question mark. Leadership, that voice is about conviction. Are you hearing what I'm saying and feeling what I'm saying to the point where you are convinced that I know what I'm talking about? You are convinced that I know where I'm going. You are convinced that I'm sure of the submission I'm making. And then lastly, somebody said it, and I love that. Leadership and that voice, why it matters is it's got to be authentic. There is absolutely no way I can sit in this seat and talk to the entire continent of 54 countries, talk to young men, young women, even the elderly. If I am unable to share authenticity in my voice. And lastly, the leaders who shape the future are the ones whose voices are grounded. Your voice is grounded, it's firm. It's firm in your conviction. It's firm in your belief. It's firm in your ownership. It doesn't mean that you are always right. It doesn't mean that you are always perfect. It doesn't mean that you're always excellent, but it is firmly rooted in something. And that something is that you are thoughtful. You are thinking through every single thing you stand for. You are thinking through everything that you say. You are thinking through every room you allow yourself to be in. And most importantly, courage. A lot of us will walk into the room. We will be visible, but we will be invisible. Your voice matters because it requires that you be visible, not only to be heard, you be visible to be felt. And it takes courage to find that visibility. It takes courage to create that feelability, if I may call it that. And that's why the leadership voice matters. And now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that I love is I've always said, in high school particularly, I discovered that I wasn't able to learn like everybody else. If you said, Anita, what is 1 plus 1? It would take me a long time to say two. Sometimes not because I didn't know it, but sometimes because I still had to struggle to figure out, okay, but why is it two? Okay, should I say two? But if I don't understand why it's two and I'm asked why it's two, how do I explain it? So I taught myself. I taught myself how to learn. And in learning the power and the essence of the leadership voice, that's that connection to my powerful presence. I created an acronym for leadership. And the acronym lies in the word authority. To be a leader, to own my voice, I knew I had to build authority. The authority that makes you stop to listen. The authority that makes you want to just believe in what I'm saying, even if what I'm saying doesn't make sense. The authority to help you understand that I believe in myself, the authority to teach you that I have courage. And so, hey, perhaps I want to share that courage, or I want to show you that I have courage. And even the authority to know and to let you know that I am audacious enough to be in this room, regardless of what kind of room it is. People older than me, people younger than me, people of a different race, people of a different culture. The authority, the authority to know that my voice matters. In fact, the authority to know that my voice belongs to me. And I am so well versed in the ownership of my voice that you should just sit and listen to what I have to say. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you what the meaning of authority means and how I taught myself to make it make sense to the leader I am today. A for alignment, because your voice must align with who you are. My dear brothers and sisters, under never and any and no circumstance should you relinquish the power of your voice to what somebody else says that you should be, to what somebody else says you are. Find the alignment. Who are you? What do you believe in? Where are you going? What kind of challenges have you encountered? How do you own your challenges? When you fail and you fall, how do you pick up yourself and say, you know what? It's not a failure and a fall. It's actually a preparation for where I'm going. If you don't find alignment, you are unable to grasp and use that voice that you are nurturing. When you're in a position where your values, your actions, your words move all in the same direction, I like to call it alignment. Alignment doesn't always mean I know everything. No. Alignment doesn't also always mean I am perfect or I'm excellent. Alignment just means I know who I am. It might take me a little longer to get to where I am, but I am not going to compromise that because I know who I am. And I'm going in the direction that I believe in. I'm going in a direction that I know is created and it's meant for me. And so the A in authority is for alignment. Let's go to you. Understanding. If you don't understand what you're saying, if you don't understand the dynamic of the room that you are in, if you don't understand the power of the microphone you're holding, if you don't understand the power of the pen you are wielding, if you don't understand the power of the company that you're building and how it's going to solve the problems that you see in your community, if you don't understand the power you own and you have as an individual, then you cannot propagate the leadership voice. You need to understand, who am I? The business I'm building, what is it for? The person that this business is going to serve, who are they? Have I listened to them? Do I know what their problem is? Do I know what their dynamic is? If you don't understand the community you're serving, if you don't understand the room you're standing in, if you don't understand the dynamism, if you don't understand the use of your voice, you are unable to wield the power that is given to you. Powerful voices are informed voices. The only voice that people will believe is the one that clearly understands who they are, where they're going, and why they are there. Leaders who seek understanding before speaking bring wisdom into the room rather than noise. Nobody can challenge why you started that business, because by the time you get on the stage and you're talking about your business, you have spent so much time listening to the community. By the time you get on stage and you hold a microphone, or you are even speaking to a group in a boardroom, wherever you may find yourself, you are well informed, not only of who you are, but what you're talking about. When people come to me to say, oh, Anita, you know what? I need you to teach me how to speak. I always say, you know what? I don't teach how to speak. I teach how to learn. I teach how to read. Because the power you're looking for, the command you're looking for, is in understanding the room, the material, the community, the society that your voice is serving. So if you are uninformed, you cannot wield your powerful sword through speaking. Now let's go to T. One of the things I absolutely love about this is what many of you have already said: truth. The most trusted leaders are not those who say what is convenient. They are not those who just say whatever everybody is hoping they will say. They are those who say what is necessary. And sometimes, as we well know, what is necessary may not be palatable. What is necessary may scare you. What is necessary may make you feel like all is lost. But if you want to be the kind of leader whose presence, whose professional presence is felt, you have to be the kind of leader who is known to use their voice to speak truth. And I'm not only talking about truth about other people, truth even about yourself. If you should have listened properly, if you should have effected something properly and you didn't, it's really okay to say, you know something, my team said this would happen. I didn't pay attention because I thought I knew, but hear me now. I wield, or I yield rather. I yield. So as you guys said before, the voice must speak truth. A true leader speaks truth. A true leader is synonymous with truth. If you don't build that element of using that voice for truth, it doesn't matter how well dressed you are when you walk into the room. People will say, you see this person. Every time we encounter them, they tell us a story of sorts. And now we've heard so many stories, we don't even believe them. The leadership voice must speak truth. And that is where the power is. Let's go to H. And by all means, as we go along, please feel free to interject if you have any questions or if you need any clarity. Humility, my ultimate favorite word, even above and beyond the authority acronym. Humility is my favorite word, because a lot of you think humility is weakness. You know, oh, they are so nice. This person is so accessible. This person is smiling all the time. They say yes. They say please. They say thank you. So I'm here to flip the script. If you've ever thought humility is the same as weakness, I beg you, Let go of that old thinking, because authority is grounded in humility. The humility to listen, the humility to learn, and the humility only based on listening and learning to accumulate wisdom. That then helps you to contribute meaningfully. I'm going to say it again. Humility is in listening. Humility is in learning. Humility is in absorbing all that which is wise, which may not only come from your head. In Akan, we have a saying that said, wisdom is not only in the mind of one person, but the humility as a leader just to listen. Many of us think because we have a voice, because we have presence, because we are powerful and influential, only our voice matters. And it doesn't matter where you are. Maybe for you, I'm not even talking about the biggest and the boldest and the brightest in the world. I'm talking about you. In the space you find yourself, do you listen? Are you willing to learn from others? Or are you the kind of person who just says, well, because my voice is powerful and loud, and because I am so accomplished, I don't need to learn from you? Well, I have something to say. The ability to listen and learn and to take that wisdom and mold it so you can contribute meaningfully is humility. Humility is a powerful tool. And humility is not weakness. Humility is actually one of the most powerful values you can ever have. Let's go to O. When I have been in rooms when people have said, Anita, you are wonderful, you are great, you are well, beautiful, I'll take that. Oh, you get on stage and everybody wants to listen to you. Yes. Am I honored? Yes. Do I feel yes, I feel proud, I feel good, I feel great. And then sometimes they'll say, but how did you get this? How did you come to this point? One rule: I learned how to own. I learned how to own my mind. I learned how to own my decisions. I learned how to own the difficulty in my journey. I learned how to own my vision. I learned how to own my hard work. I learned how to own pain. I learned how to own whatever material I needed to own that will give my story, my journey, my skill, the kind of layers that make it the most sumptuous, powerful, juicy cake. Leadership starts when you stop saying, oh, can I? Oh, please, do you think I should? Well, in certain situations, of course, always ask your can I and do you think I should? But in this instance, I'm talking about using your voice, using your mind, using your intuition, using your wisdom, and stop walking into a room and thinking that unless somebody has given you the authority or the power or the opportunity, you cannot put your hand up and you cannot contribute. Stop walking into rooms and saying, oh, I'm just a graduate, so I don't think my idea holds value. Oh, you know what? I'm just, and I'm just, and I'm just. Throw that out the window from today. Own your voice. Leadership is about ownership. And it's not ownership that is loud and it's, oh yeah, I want to do this and I want to do. No, 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 no. It's ownership that says, I know who I am. I'm here for a reason. And I need to make my presence felt. It's audacious, it's bold, it's courageous. But if you are unable to own, then you have literally relinquished your power. If you don't own, you are owned. Let me say this again. If you don't own, you are owned. And what that means is your vision can never be heard. Your mission can never be felt. Your ambition can never be seen. And ultimately, you are honestly like wallpaper. You are just part of the decoration, but you're not part of the essence of the room. Now let's go to R. Responsibility. When people listen to you, your words begin to shape ideas and decisions. You see what I'm doing here today? It is my responsibility. I'm carrying the responsibility of sharing knowledge with you. I'm carrying the responsibility of knowing that there are some of you who may feel lost and need the guidance. I'm carrying the responsibility of telling myself, oh, you know what? I want to be XYZ person. I want to be in this room. I want to do this. I want to hold someone's hand. I want to mentor. I want to guide. I want to train. Leadership comes with responsibility. So does your voice. As I'm saying and speaking to you, I need to carry the responsibilities of what I'm saying to you. If I misguide you, I need to own that responsibility and say that, you know what, I misguided you. Whatever it is I'm sharing, primarily, I've got to be transparent, authentic, real, true. I owe you that responsibility. The same way, when you go into your communities and your offices and your schools, the responsibility is on you as a leader. Because whatever you say, however you say it, whatever you do, people are listening. And that alone can either sway them the right way or, in some instances, sway them in the opposite way. So, every leader, particularly when your voice is being heard and felt, you have the responsibility to carry energy, to carry positivity, to carry direction. And more importantly, I dare say to carry hope to whomever it is that is listening to you in that room. So today, me right now sitting here from across the continent through Drive to Inspire, I know my key responsibility is holding your hand, albeit virtually, holding your hand and helping you navigate perhaps what may be the toughest phase in your life. I don't know. Or helping you navigate that corner. You know, we are all navigating a corner or so where we're not sure what's on the other side. That's why we're here. The responsibility. Drive to Inspire has a responsibility. Anita has a responsibility because we claim to be leaders and the kind of leaders who will use our voice to help you navigate wherever you may be. Now let's go to integrity. Very much like truth, your voice becomes powerful when your words and actions reinforce each other. Ah, may God help me such that I don't say A here and go and do B because we're all human. And sometimes we all tend to forget what we just taught. We all tend to forget what we just preached. One of my biggest prayers, oh God, life can life you. May I say A and may my A always be A. Every leader, your voice must carry integrity. And integrity is probably one of the most difficult things to do because when you are being swayed in one direction, it is integrity that reminds you what you said, who you are, who you lead, who is watching, who is listening to you. And it is integrity that hopefully brings you back on the track so that those who have allowed their dreams to be fashioned after what you claim to teach and what you are sharing are not misled. So integrity transforms influence into trust, whereby when you showed up and you've said, look at who I am, look at what I have to say, hear me now, all of that kind of stuff, you also have to hold your integrity firmly. Otherwise, you're misleading and you're misguiding. Tenacity is T. Owning your voice is not a single act of courage. And I had to bold this one because every day I tell myself, Anita, as a leader, as somebody who uses your voice to move people, to give people hope, to guide people, it's never a single act of courage. Every morning, every day, I have to show up and speak with conviction. Even when I feel at my weakest, even when I feel at my lowest. If I'm going to show up, I'm not going to show up with an excuse. Oh, you know, today, and I have a very bad sore throat. But as long as I am showing up, I have to be tenacious. I have to speak with conviction and make no excuses. Because like R said, I have a responsibility towards my constituents, you. And that is what you do as a leader. To show up professionally is to show up with tenacity. The last letter is Y. The final practice is the most important. Your voice must remain your own. Authenticity is the foundation of leadership influence. Authenticity is the foundation of showing up professionally. After you've worn the nicest dress, after you've worn the most pressed, sharp suit, after you've tied your most beautiful tie, what do people hear when they encounter you? How do people feel when they hear you? People have already seen you, but what hooks them? It's not the dress. It's not the suit. It's not the kaftan. It's not the bubu. It's not the kaba and slit. And every fashion wherever you are. It's the foundation. That authenticity. I have a plan. I want to stick to the plan. I'm going to share the plan. The plan may go left or may go right, but I'll own it. That authenticity. I have a story. I hear that people want to hear that story. I want to guide them. I want to show them how I got to where I was. It means I have to be truthful. I cannot show them only the gloss and the strawberries on the top of the cake. I've got to be truthful and show them the brokenness. It is the only way they come to understand that if they are broken, it's just part of the story. Authenticity in how I show up. Am I showing up on time? Am I showing up when I want? Am I showing up if I want? Authenticity is the foundation of leadership influence. And that authenticity is felt when your voice is founded and grounded in all the acronyms I've shared, in authority. You know, I remember being in rooms many times before I understood alignment, before I understood understanding, before I understood truth, before I understood humility, before I understood ownership, before I came close to understanding responsibility, before I grasped integrity, before I understood the meaning of tenacity. I've stood in many rooms before that, even though I was a professional, and still felt my voice carried no power. But the moment I started to say, wait, hang on a second, but I've got thoughts. I think I'm wise. I have an ambition. I have raw passion. I've got skill. I have direction. I've got dreams. Why am I unable to own power? Why am I unable to be who I really, why am I unable to show up in the best version of myself? The day I told myself because I didn't have ownership is the day I found my voice. And so, ladies and gentlemen, professional presence means nothing if your power, your strength, your legitimacy, call it whatever you want, is not rooted in your voice. It is your voice they will hear. It is your voice they will feel. It is your voice they will learn from. And most importantly, when you think of the power of your voice, think of authority. Do you have authority? Does your voice mean anything? Are you the kind of leader that likes to only listen to your voice and you want to be the only one that is heard? I have to say, we each have a gift. We each have a talent. Some of you are way more skilled than I am. Some of you are way more qualified than I am. But the space between your dreams and ambitions and where you are is called owning your voice. for you to become the kind of leader who can walk into any room and command any kind of attention, particularly who can walk into a room for their professional presence to be felt and for it to inspire. You have to understand the power of your voice. Your voice carries authority. I'm here to help you find it. Thank you. Bernard, over to you.
Wow. That's my genuine impression. It's been a whole meal, I would say. It's
Thank you.
it's it's wonderful. And I'm putting a lot together in my mind. I've followed the conversation, and what's happened is I've looked for instances where what could have made it better. That's what I was doing. Oh, so this is what happened in this room. This is what happened in this instance. Oh, this what could have made it better. Oh, this actually, that's what I was doing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's being moved by what you said,
Thank
and
you.
more so, I said from the beginning, I set a target for myself to know how to move from just being an eloquent speaker to one who inspires change or inspires action. So this framework that you've shared with us, and I could feel the authenticity behind it. That's one of the things I said. I could feel you. It's you're telling your story, and I could also acknowledge the humility in it. And you kept re-echoing that you're still on that journey. You are not. You are not at the pinnacle of it yet. I mean, sometimes when I hear that, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of humility coming from someone blazing the trail and someone you wanted to learn from. So it's definitely a big. I'm happy again, and I'm thankful to the team for putting me up to moderate this. We will go through the Q&A. I'll look through that section. I'll take a look at the comments. I would look at the questions as well. So I'll take the reflections, because if you leave me alone, I have a lot to say about it.
I like that.
I could go on and on and on. And yeah, so I'll start with reading what this. I really enjoyed your presentation. Someone is saying that's a lovely presentation, Anita. I admire your articulation. Someone is saying that you're what I need for my next level. That's says thank you for that powerful presentation. You have no idea how you inspire me every day. That's some of the comments coming in. I'm here to see a question. We are scrolling through, so I'm here to see a question on that. I think one question that I'm seeing here, I'll put it in this way. The question is, someone's asking on the framework letter on being authentic, like owning that part of it. The person is talking about the fear of being judged for being authentic. There are other conversations on. So I'm reading what the person is and giving some context to it. That if I show my authenticity in this way, there's some judgment to it. So how do I navigate that? That's the first question there.
Perfect. Bernard, do you want me to answer that?
Yes, please. Please take that, and then I will be collating others as we go.
That is the best question ever, because nowhere in your journey should you stop and think, oh, just because I know who I am and I know what I want, the red carpet is going to be laid in front of me. People will judge you. People will call you names. People will assume you are who you are not. But you see, inside the ability to use your voice as a leader, or inside becoming a leader who owns their voice, is understanding that you are well learned, you are well versed, your skill is tip-top shape. You can't just show up any way you want. You can't just, people should take me as I am. No, 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 no. You leave loopholes for people to poke in. Already they are poking holes at you anyway. So owning that ability to navigate, whether you're navigating a room, you're navigating a job role, or navigating whatever it is you're navigating, has to be backed by how you're teaching yourself. So let me give you an example, a personal example. Before I knew I always had, a passion for women and for helping women navigate life. But I wasn't sure exactly what it was about this navigation that I wanted to do. So I started off by saying, oh, I'm a women's advocate. I'm a women's empowerment advocate. And I remember one day somebody said, yeah, but what does that really mean? And it truly caught me unawares. And his comment was, yes, everybody is a women's advocate. Everybody's talking about women empowerment. What does that even mean? What do you even do? Because I wasn't well versed in the specificity of who I was, I was unable to answer the question. But it made me go back and say, well, yeah, it's true. When I say woman empowerment, what am I even talking about? How does it come through? How do I empower people? How do I empower women? That is when I discovered maybe, Anita, you should empower women by offering skills, training. An empowered woman is one who is skilled enough to take care of herself. Maybe you should just stop talking and rather provide them with something tangible that they can use to better themselves. That's when I learned about agency. An educated woman of different levels is a woman who has agency, who has ownership, control of who she is and what she does. So that is an example of doing something without learning exactly what it means. So people were able to poke holes and they were able to bring me to the point where I started to doubt myself. But I corrected that by going to do my research, by understanding what are the different levels of who I am, what I want to do, and how do I serve my community in a more efficient way. So they'll talk to you, they'll talk about you, they'll make you feel like what you're doing. But once you are well grounded in what you're doing, you're clear, you are trained, you have direction. They will still talk, but you would have conviction of who you are and where you're going. That's the difference. Over to you, Bernard.
Thank you very, very much. I'm sure the person has gotten a great response to that. There's nobody that will buy into it as you start, but they want to poke holes. So I think I picked one thing: make sure you know your stuff and keep
Yes,
going at it.
yes.
That's my biggest takeaway from that. So
Thank
I
you.
have before the session, I had a
Mhm,
conversation with a lady friend, and I'm happy that you mentioned that your woman empowerment through agency skills, and then your example very, very refreshing as always.
mhm.
And there's a question, and I'll connect that conversation to the question. There's a lady friend I have. She said when she's in meetings, what she does is she double thinks her thoughts. She'll think about it over and over again, and then she'll hear another person mention what she wanted to mention. I'm like, oh, God, I could have mentioned that. And I'm leading that to a question that I have here. Someone's asking, how do you deal with self-doubt? So I'm using that experience to link to that question, and I'll leave it for you at this point. How do I deal with self-doubt?
I want to find a very authentic and real way to answer that.
Right.
Self-doubt is a reflection of what you haven't armed yourself with. Let me say it again. Self-doubt is a reflection of what you have not armed yourself with. One, you're going into a meeting. Prepare for that meeting by understanding all the dynamics that are in front of you for that meeting. When you've understood the dynamic and you have formulated a solution, you say, you know what, when I get to the meeting, I'm going to share that this is my solution. The amount of preparation that you gave yourself serves as a fuel, as a propeller for what you are going to do in that room. So when you tell yourself, well, you know what, I have an idea of what they're going to say, the fact that you just say, I have an idea, automatically serves you with a deficit of conviction. So you have an idea, but you're not sure, so that space, that small gap is enough to overrule and overwhelm the tiny confidence you have. You see, the confidence is in, I have this idea. How you fill that confidence or how you fill that gap is research, asking questions, Knowledge is power. Don't let anybody ever fool you. It doesn't matter how qualified you are. It doesn't matter how much you tell yourself you know what you know. That doubt is always connected to something you didn't double check. That tiny doubt is always connected to something you didn't double check. So take this from me. The next time you have an opportunity to be in a room, the next time you are invited to a certain table, prior to that, why are we going to be here in this room? What are we going to be discussing? What is the world saying? What is the environment saying about this particular issue? What are my thoughts? Let me write my thoughts down. How will my thoughts serve maybe the challenges we are going to discuss? You'll see that the moment you start to punch holes into your own thinking, the gap, that self-doubt gap, gradually closes. Also, make sure that when you hear that little tiny voice that says, don't answer, don't put your hand up, don't speak, that you tell yourself, just because you've told me not to speak, I will speak. Because it's a little tiny voice. It's not, if you're not careful, you don't even hear it. Something says, no, no, no. It's that little tiny voice. The moment it crosses your mind, speak. Speak at the risk of saying nonsense for all I care. Speak at the risk of somebody says, no, that's not the direction that we want to take. Because being able to speak when that little tiny voice tells you, no, don't speak, is the creation of a louder version of you. It's a louder part of your mind, of your subconscious. So every time it says, don't speak, and you speak, every time it says, don't speak, and you speak, you are building levels. And for every time you speak, that doubt is going further down. So much so that you are so sure of what your voice means that eventually you stop hearing that little tiny voice. So, first thing is preparation. Second thing is actually pushing yourself to override that voice. Lastly, because I love this topic, we all have things that make us confident. We all have things that make us confident. My confidence is knowledge. So whenever I have to be in a particular room and I'm sure the conversation that is going to be had is something I'm not particularly well versed on, I spend more time learning about that conversation. Everybody has that thing that makes them more confident. Mine is knowledge. So, I've had instances where, now everybody's talking about AI. I don't have a tech background. I don't have a climate change background. I don't have a whatever it is background, but I've had to teach myself what these areas mean and how AI is connected to them so that when I'm in a room where AI for climate change is being talked about, I don't just go like that. I can contribute. Even when the tiny voice is saying, hey, but are you sure? Yes, I'm sure because I learned it. And even if I'm not sure, I'm open to learning. So I will always say, oh, I think it should be A, B, C, and D. But of course, I'm open to discussion. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that more than answers it. And one of the things that I've taken from that as well is the confidence that you start with, it grows. So if you allow the voice count to go counter, it's going to
Yes,
dwindle. So I
absolutely.
just take that. The more it tells you not to do, the more you rather should
The
do.
more you rather
Thank
do.
you.
Perfect.
Thank you very
Well
much.
summarized.
I say they're listening for with their dad and they're excited to be here. So I just wanted to say that
Ah, bless,
they love
bless.
from Ghana. That's Nana.
Thank you.
Then there's another question on. I'll bunch two of them. So it's
Mhm.
saying that how do you handle environments where it feels like your voice is being intentionally limited? So you feel like your voice is being intentionally limited or curtailed. Then the next one is, how do I know whether I am a leader or a follower? Must my voice always be heard to show I'm leading, or my way of life can also lead since actions speak louder
Yeah.
than words?
So the first one, sorry,
So
the first one is what? Say it again, Bernard.
how do I handle environments where it feels like my voice is being intentionally limited? How do I
Uh-huh.
handle those stuff? And the second, quickly talking about how do I know whether I'm a leader or follower? Should my voice always be heard to show I'm leading, or my way of life
Okay.
can also lead since action speaks louder than words?
Okay. How
So
do you know
that's
you're
the
a
two
leader? All right.
up now.
Your
So, yeah.
voice is being intentionally limited. Your voice is being muted. You are in an environment, people don't want to hear you. You remember the word courage? You need to find the courage to speak up. You see, let me tell you something. And it's easy. Yes, I agree. It's easier said than done. But like what I said in the previous answer, every day you say one word and you add another word is a day you are building levels of courage. Now, whether you all like it or not, we are all almost always in rooms that don't want to hear our voice. It's not because Anita speaks so well that every single room is ready to hear Anita's voice. It's not because Bernard speaks so well that every single door would open and say, "Oh, Bernard, come, let us hear your voice." I told you, and I said it very transparently, it is a daily navigation. Every day, you are in a new space that says, "Who are you? What are you here to say? Please just sit down." But every day, you have to wake up knowing that this is the day that my great ideas, my great contribution must be heard, must be seen, must be felt. It's a personal conviction. I cannot teach you how to speak in a room where your voice is muted. I can only teach you to understand the power or to understand the essence of courage. You need to find the courage. You need to find the courage. Again, let me go back to how we started. Owning your voice. If you don't own your voice, you will be owned. There is no school on this planet that teaches you how to speak up in a room that doesn't want to hear you. But there are only schools that will teach you the skill of how to speak. There are only schools that will, allow you to understand what your confidence is and to tap into your confidence every opportunity you get. When somebody comes to me to say, "Anita, you are so confident. Teach me to be confident." I tell them what they don't want to hear. And I tell them, I can never teach you how to be confident because confidence is only deeply rooted in knowledge, in preparation, in accepting that you deserve to be in a room, and in audacity. I cannot teach you how to find audacity, but I can encourage you to be audacious, to try. Because the reality is when you don't try, you don't know. And when you don't know, you are sidelined. So again, yes, I'm going to say it again. Anita, oh, it's easier said than done. Yes, you who asked the question, yes, I'm going to tell you that, yes, I know it is easier said than done. But I'm telling you something. When you walk into that room next time or tomorrow or whatever it is, and you know this is a room that wants to mute me, you've got to find the courage to say even one word. Even if the word is, I'm just putting up my hand to say, I understand. And if you don't own that opportunity to just put up your hand to say, "Oh, no, I just wanted to put up my hand to say, I understand," your voice doesn't build its muscle. The muscle of the voice is connected to the mind, where the mind says, say one thing, say just two things. You don't have to say an entire sentence, an entire paragraph. No, the muscle of the voice is connected to the power of the mind. When the mind says, say A, or just say, I concur, or just say, I agree, it starts to build the muscle in your voice. So it's like macho. Every single time you say something, an element of the muscle in your voice is being built. Every single time the mind says, have the courage, push it, an element of the muscle in your voice is being built. And it's not a one-day thing. It takes time. So take it easy. It takes time. But next time you're in that room, hear Anita's voice here saying, say one thing. Even if that one thing is to put your hand up and say, I just wanted to say, I agree. And that is enough to start kicking that fear to the curb. Trust me. Oh, Bernard, it works. So I have done it before. Yes, Anita, do you have a contribution? Oh, no, I just want to say I agree. And the fact that my voice is opening and I'm uttering words starts to break down the walls of fear. The next time, Anita, do you have a contribution? Yes, I agree. But I just wanted to ask a question. Is it possible? And I sit back. Everybody else can answer. If you like, ask the simplest questions just so that you can practice and build the muscle in your throat. Next question, very quickly. How do I know if I'm a leader or a follower? Let me tell you something. Leaders and followers are usually the same people. let me explain. So you have a company, you have a CEO, and then you have, Anita, who is the, head of marketing. Inside Anita's head of marketing, she has a leader. That leader is the CEO. When the CEO is called, it's not Anita who shows up, it's the CEO, Bernard. Bernard is the CEO. But in Anita's department, there is Amma. Anita is Amma's leader. So in your mind, you say to yourself, hey, me, the company, I'm not the owner, I'm not the CEO. I'm nobody, but you are a leader because Amma, who can literally even be an intern, is looking up to you for something. Leaders are people who establish themselves such that other people look up to them. So a leader is not a title. A leader is not, oh, CEO, MD, CO. Those are titles. I'm talking about the experience you give the people around you. So how you know you are a leader is how the people around you feel. Do they like to talk to you? Do they like to listen to you? When they have a problem, do they like to confide in you? That is leadership. That's why I always say people think, oh, what are you in the business? Oh, yes, I am the CEO. It means you're the leader. No, you're the CEO. It's a title, it's a role, it's a responsibility. But leadership is how you make people experience you. So you can be a leader in church, you can be a leader at home, you can be a leader in your small corner office, you can be a leader in school. Now, I said leaders and followers are the same because if you don't know how to follow, you don't know how to lead. I'm going to say it again. Leaders and followers are the same. If you don't know how to follow, you don't know how to lead because following is serving somebody. Leadership is serving somebody. So the two are the same. The experience you give people, how you nurture, how you warmly, embrace people, how you don't judge them, how you speak authentically, how you share genuineness. That is a true mark of leadership, not the title. So if you're the kind of person who just likes to serve people, you are a leader in your own way because you like to serve people. Without people like you, leaders in the traditional form cannot thrive. So never think of yourself as, oh, me, I'm not a leader. Oh, me, I'm a follower. Somebody says they want to give you, hey, no, 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 no. Me, I like to follow. I don't like to lead. Huh? No way. As long as you're able to listen to people, guide them, talk to them, you are a leader. Define leadership by the experience you allow people to have of you, not the title you hold. My 2 cents. Bernard, over to you.
Thank you very, very much. It's like I'm in a leadership summit as well, too.
Yes, you are the leader, CEO Bernard.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And I'm seeing that there are more questions and comments coming in, and yeah, people are connecting to that. I find it interesting that you've used the power of your voice to speak on leadership and professional presence. Amazing, amazing. Someone's saying that on the authenticity bit, someone's come back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Says, where do you know where to draw the line, what to say, what not to say, and then you by being authentic, you put out all your business. That's one question. And someone just a remark saying that Anita, you're a blessing, and I really wish to meet you
very soon.
There's one problem in our society is if you are confident, they will call you proud and disrespectful. And it's coming from a lady. I'm deliberately mentioning her gender. Probably will spice your response. So even in our home training, we are shattered. I went through that, so I know what I'm talking about. It took me a long time to recover who I am. How do we deal with that?
Okay.
So this, I'll pause here for the
All right. So we're starting on with drawing the line. What line is there to draw in authenticity? What line is there to draw? Authenticity doesn't mean coming out to talk about every single thing under the sun. In my line of work, I am authentic to who I am. If I'm A, I show you that I'm A. If I'm B, I show you that I'm B. Authenticity doesn't mean I have to tell you everything that is going on in my life. That's not the authenticity we're talking about. Transparency, authenticity, openness, honesty has nothing to do with sharing everything about myself. But it has everything to do with being truthful about, yep, do I have challenges? Absolutely. Yep. Do I fail sometimes? Absolutely. Yes. Do I win? Absolutely. So please let's not mix the two. Authenticity doesn't mean you have to come out into public or whatever it is and tell everybody everything you are. And also, authenticity means, and to a large extent, that you don't judge. I know people who, if they say, "Oh, Anita, just like Bernard has spoken about this young lady talking about being courageous and being, shut down, etc." I've listened to people who've said that, and my true authentic self will say, "I completely understand." Humbly, I may not necessarily have encountered it, but I won't judge you for having encountered it. And I won't judge you for being fearful now of being bold and courageous. So authenticity doesn't have anything to do with talking, sharing, being whatever. No, authenticity is knowing how you show up. You show up as yourself and not anybody else. You show up as yourself. You don't judge anybody. You show up as yourself. You are willing to hold people's hands because you know what they may be going through, or they've shared what they may be going through. So I don't agree at all that authenticity means having to talk about all your problems or all your money or all your power. No. Authenticity also is how you listen to people. Being authentic, sometimes you just have to stop and listen to people just so that you can understand and you don't judge them. So my 2 cents of what authenticity means. It doesn't mean you put all your, no, that's not what authenticity means at all. And again, before I move to the next question, I mentioned leaders, let's just say in this particular submission that I'm making, traditional leaders, CEOs, CFOs, whatever it is, perhaps you made a bad decision. You had made a bad decision at work, and that cost the company 2 million. Your authentic self shows up to apologize for the decision you made. Authenticity means owning that which you know, whether it's great, good, or not so good or bad. So I hope you understand that authenticity doesn't mean, hey, now every time I go wherever I'm going, I have to talk about everything that's going on in my life. No, 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 no. That's not what I'm talking about. And to you, my dear sister, about the fallouts of confidence and courage, I understand. Sometimes culture just doesn't allow you to be your true, authentic self because culture, depending on where you're coming from and the traditions, may nip that thing, that power, that voice, that courage. Respectfully, I think, when you find yourself in that situation, respectfully, I'm not a psychologist, so I will not use this platform to propagate any actions or the like. But I think respectfully, the more you find yourself in situations where you're being silenced, they're calling you names for that which is a genuine, authentic power within you, the more you've got to figure out if you're in the right place. I'll leave it at that. I'm sure it's a big conversation, and I respect you, whoever you may be. I respect it because, again, easier said than done. But think about what I'm saying. Just reflect on it. Does the space deserve you? Are you happy in that space? Are you comfortable in that space? Do you feel safe in that space? Once again, I'm not a psychologist. I'm just an individual who has been blessed to be around this kind of conversation a lot. And these are some of the questions that come up. So I'm sure maybe we can have a conversation offline, but you need to ask yourself some of these very difficult questions because they may give you the answers you truly, truly were hoping you didn't have to tell yourself. Bernard.
Thank you, Anita. And I can understand how close, how touchy that question was. But
But it's good. Very good question.
it's a conversation for days. It's a conversation
I know.
for that. So thank you so much. I mean, you're graceful with that one, and thank you for that. I'll do 3 questions. I think we are getting to this will be three of. I'll check more.
No
These are
problem.
close. They are closely knit too, especially.
Okay.
So someone is
Okay.
saying that every leader rises from somewhere. as a finalist in college, I feel I've missed my chances to explore the leadership side of me. Then college, they say that I'm approaching the world of work, but where will I ever learn the skills a leader needs? That's number one. I can see that you are
Bernard,
that
it's a
right
very,
now.
let me answer that very simply. Let me tell you
Yes,
something
yes, please.
about life. Understand the power of evolution. Do not ever put a full stop on where you are. Don't train yourself to put a full stop. And that full stop means if I didn't do A, B, C by this time, I am doomed. Remove that full stop. Embrace evolution because every stage in your life will teach you something new, be it about following, be it about leadership. You may think right now you missed an opportunity, but the world, life, your journey is so ahead of you. Every single corner you turn will teach you something new. So I want to say this, open yourself up to evolution. Don't train your mind to put a full stop and ever use your tongue to say, I missed out on something. We all never miss out on anything. Whatever it is that you desire, whatever it is that you want, if you were unable to achieve it the last year, 5 years, or whatever, you will achieve it. You know, the road of life, it always bends like this. You know, it keeps going. And we keep going until the last day. We keep going until the last day. So never use your tongue to say, I think I missed out. No, embrace evolution and be ready. Because where you are going will teach you so much about life. And trust me, let me use my tongue to profess positively. You are going to enjoy it. All right, Bernard, next one.
Yeah, yeah. I could see that you wanted to take that question. So I had to allow it. So please, I,
I had to just
yeah,
jump in there because college,
yeah.
wow. I'm
Uh,
47 and I'm still
college,
learning. How much more you college? But you pa. Let's go, Bernard, let's
that's
go.
amazing. Amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Someone is asking, or the quiz question is, aside the fear of being judged, this close to self-doubt. Saying, how do you deal with self-sabotaging? Then the next one, which is close to that, I'll read self-sabotaging. The next one is, first of all, I feel privileged to share the room with you and to listen to your powerful presentation. Thank you. So my question is, how do I pull myself out of a comfort zone? Someone is
Mm.
dealing with self-sabotaging. Someone is feeling they are too close to comfort. So
Ha!
how do we deal with that?
I love it. Your questions are so powerful. This has just made my month. May is just starting. You've made May for me. Self-sabotage. We all have it. That is a disease. We've all had it before, and sometimes it has a way of recurring, even when you are the highest pinnacle. Because the thing about self-sabotage is it's just reminding you and asking you, are you worth it? That's all it is. Self-sabotage, as we call it, is simply a voice that asks you, are you worth it? Now, if you say, no, I'm not worth it, you step away from that which would have taken you to the next level. So it's simply a question. It says, are you worth it? Are you good enough? And if you answer yes, you break down the walls of self-sabotage. You know what I said? It's almost connected to what I said about having your voice heard and felt in a room. You've got to literally every single day practice that one thing that counters the question or the statement that you heard in your voice. Are you worth it? Or the statement that says you are not worth it. You have to find the courage to counter it. Little tiny, it's like going on a diet. You don't wake up the first day and say, oh, as for today, I will not eat. Hey, you will faint. That is not how it works. But you wake up and you say, you know what, today, I usually will have 2 teaspoons of sugar. I'm going to reduce it to 1. And every single day for the next 4 weeks, 1 tablespoon of sugar. By the time you get to the end of that month, you feel, oh, I'm almost used to not having to. That is how it works. So every single time the voice says or asks, are you worth it? Or it says, you're not good enough, do one tiny thing that counteracts it. Find the courage to, and you're going to be filled with so much fear. But let me connect it to the comfort zone. The reason your voice asks you, are you good enough? Are you ready? is because your body and your mind know they are about to encounter something that is big, that is bold, that is new. You know, the comfort zone for a lot of us is a place where we feel we don't have to try too hard. That's what the comfort zone means. You don't have to try too hard. This one, you can just do it. It doesn't, you know, and once you stay here, you're okay. I want to say this categorically clearly. Many of us are okay in our comfort zone, and I'm not going to judge you. There are some people who, where they've reached or where they bask in, is enough for them. And that is okay if it's okay for you. However, if you're one of those people who says, even though it's okay for me, I don't like it. I want to be more and I want to do more. Every day, you've got to practice and you've got to find the courage to go a step further. And it's very, very scary. Pardon me. It's very, very, very scary. But if you don't wake up in the morning and tell yourself, I know I'm afraid of this. I know this thing makes me uncomfortable. But if I don't try, I will always be on or at the back burner. Is that really what I want? Absolutely not. So it means I've got to try. And what I'm about to do is going to make me uncomfortable. But every day I pursue that which makes me uncomfortable, eventually it becomes my normal. Eventually, it becomes my normal. Eventually, it becomes how I thrive. Eventually, I throw away that which used to be comfortable because suddenly that what used to make me comfortable, that was not good enough for me, becomes uncomfortable. But we don't go back there. I hope you understand. So self-sabotage, little tiny voice, it asks you, are you worth it? Are you sure? Or it says, you're not worth it. You are unsure. Step aside. Find the courage to do that little tiny thing that breaks it, that moves it. And in the comfort zone, well, I always say, well, tell yourself, look in the mirror, ask yourself, if in 5 years, Anita comes to find me where I am, will I be proud of myself? If the answer is no, then you know you must own the ability to try a little every day. Let me tell you something for every one of you that is hearing this, especially when it comes to self-sabotage and the like. I want to say this clearly. A lot of the things I've shared with you tonight, or this afternoon, or this morning, are seldom done by yourself. We all need accountability partners. We all need a support system. We all need advocates. I have accountability partners. I have a support system. I have advocates. So none of what I've shared with you tonight is to be dealt with by yourself. Again, none of what I have said tonight, well, maybe you're a powerful and strong person, but I knew I wasn't a powerful and strong person, and I knew I needed help. The courage to say I need help is its own definition of power. The courage to say I need help is its own definition of power. Saying you need help doesn't mean you're weak. It just means you know where you want to get to. You've identified who or what can take you there, and you want to tap or grasp that which, that help, that support system. None of what I've shared with you tonight, today, this morning, this afternoon can only ever be done by yourself. And that's why the words accountability partners are crucial for any of us who wants to pursue higher heights, if I may put it that way. So find the help. Find people you trust. Find that person that doesn't judge you. Find that person who is real with you. Find that person who can hold your hand. Find that person who, when you talk about your dreams and ambitions, they don't look down on you and say, why would you? Build an accountability partnership with that person so that when the tiny voice says, don't put your hand up, you're nobody, that person gives you a nudge and says, Charlie, ask your question, because we all need it.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm definitely so many nuggets, so many things filling my mind. And what's happening to me is there are so many things I'm relating, and there are so many things that I'm taking so much from this. And one thing that's happening too is I send the link to my network, and I'm having feedback for people that are a decade in work. People are sharing, and people are reacting to the things that someone said to that this was so insightful a time they needed. They're about to embark on a journey
Good.
to another country to go do some work.
Oh,
There's so
wow.
much
Yeah.
insights coming from this. So I'm really honored that we could do this, and thank you so much. I'll just take the last two questions.
Okay.
And one person is
Beautiful.
asking about they are naturally introverted. How do they build up
Uh-huh.
professional presence?
I love
And then
that question. Introverts, welcome to
okay,
the world. Okay, let's go. Uh-huh.
all right. Then there's a question. We'll go up a bit, and I read that. Yes. No. All right. So please, can you answer that one, and then we will take that, and I'll come back
Introvert.
to it. Yes,
You know what,
please.
Bernard? If I told you that I'm an introvert, would you believe me?
I wouldn't. I struggle with the thought. I doubt it.
I'm extremely introverted. Being an introvert does not mean you don't have confidence. Being an introvert means you would just rather spend time by yourself, in your moment, in your space, when you have a choice. The problem with being introverted for a lot of people, and something that I myself had to work my way out of, is when it consumes your mind, thus making you feel like you are alone in this world. Being an introvert has nothing to do with whether or not you can talk to people, you can engage with people, or you can just, be out there. I'm not a social butterfly. I do what I do as a profession. I'm a professional. My professional life and my personal life are not the same. So, in my capacity today as a speaker, this is my professional life. In my personal life, I'm taking a book and I'm reading quietly. I don't go to parties. I don't go to the club, whatever it is, because my choice is to stay in my little corner and enjoy the solitude of my, I don't know, of my own company. So I need the person that submitted this question to understand that when you say you are introverted, it should have nothing to do with that side of you that goes out into the world to push boundaries. Go out into the world and push boundaries in your professional life. If your choice is to be introverted in your personal life, then that's fine. But if you find that your introvertedness in your personal life is affecting your professional life, then we have to work to compartmentalize the mind. So it means what's happening right now is the mind cannot tell the difference. And we've got to fix it. So what I practice is compartmentalization, which means if I'm here for work, I am bringing out that which serves my purpose in this professional setting. It is very different from the part of the mind that says, ooh, I just want to be in my bedroom reading a book. But when I go into the personal side of my life, I just want to be in bed reading a very good book. I don't want to go to parties. I don't want to go to whatever it is by choice. So I've got to teach you the art of compartmentalization, which separates how you operate publicly in the public space or in the workplace or in the school place from how you function personally. I'm talking like a psychologist, right? I don't even know where I got this from, Bernard, but it's just one of those things I taught myself. But you know what, Bernard? One of these days we've got to bring a psychologist onto this thing to teach why and how we think the way we do. I'm not a professional, so I'm not gonna teach why. I'm just sharing what I do, okay? So maybe if you find that that introverted part of you is affecting your work, then we've got to teach you how you divide the two. And I've had to learn over over time, how to divide the two so that my desire to be by myself in my corner, to be quiet, doesn't affect my professional desire to push the boundaries. The next question was introverted, and you were going to check on the next question,
Yes.
Bernard.
So
What was it going to be?
right. So the final question I'll take for this, but I just want to read some of these compliments. It says your fire and you've helped them. Someone saying
Good.
they're grateful to Drive to Inspire for giving this opportunity to meet you online. Say God will continue to bless the hard work of Drive to
Amen.
Inspire for what they're
Ooh.
doing for young ladies. It's an honor. So they are very excited. The
Thank
last
you.
question is something that was on mind earlier, personally. I wasn't a question, but it was a realization from I'm taking, as I say, I'm taking from your presentation style as well. And one of the things I came to mind, this question has reminded me of it, is the person saying that they blank out when they want to speak. So are there
They
exercises
black out.
on
They black out when they want to speak.
yeah, they black out
Oh,
when they want to speak? Are
or
there
blank out.
exercises? And the reason I'm dovetailing to what I was saying is I realized that your presentation was not about three things to do to project, three things to do, but in the end, you achieve that and even more because you've attacked the why instead of what to do. So it's something that was ringing in the back the realm of my mind that the presentation is going beyond just do this and this, but
No.
understanding the why. That's
Yeah.
very deep for
Yeah.
me, and I wanted to re-echo that, but not
Thank
to
you.
overshadow their question. They're saying that the blank out in speaking in public or in front of the camera. So are there any articulation or speaking exercises you personally do or use to do that can help us speak more confidently? So it's a confident issue here.
So
So
I
that's
I
the
I
that'll
think
be our final question for
yeah.
today.
I really respect this question because I have to tell you, I remember the first time I thought, oh, well, I speak very well. I have a master's in communications and I'm skilled and I have experience and I'm going to train people how to speak. And I started the speaker training platform. And this was just pre-COVID. And it was going fantastic. It was going well. And one particular speaker said, this would have been the first cohort. So she said, you know what, Anita, really enjoyed the classes, really enjoyed the training. Wondering if you would fly in. I've got my first speaking engagement, after you took us through this beautiful class, I've got this first speaking engagement and I would love for you to be there, my teacher. And I said, no problem. Flew in, sat in the auditorium. I was dressed up, teacher, instructor, ready to clap for my student. Just before she got on stage, I gave her thumbs up. You're going to kill this. You got it. We've practiced everything under the sun. She gets on stage and there's something I used to teach. When you get on stage, it's true you've got butterflies, you're anxious, you've got anxiety. The first thing not to do is speak the moment you get on stage. The audience will wait for you. Count 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Calm your nerves and then speak. So when she did that, I thought, oh, you go, girl. You're doing exactly what Anita taught you to do. Except the 10 seconds then became 20 seconds. And the 20 seconds became a painful 25 and 30 seconds. So by that time, I'm thinking something isn't quite right. Long story short, her presentation, her speech, she got through it, but after all that we'd done, I was disappointed. So at the end, I go back to the green room and I said, what happened? She said, Anita, you taught me all the tricks, how to speak, when to pause. You didn't teach me how to feel. You didn't teach me how to connect with my soul. You didn't teach me how to, what was the word she used? How to empower my spirit. And what had happened was when she got onto the stage, the first person her eyes met was her ex-husband, the source of her pain and her anguish. So it didn't matter what skill I had taught her. The fact that we didn't ever talk about the foundation of her lack of confidence, it showed up. So did she know how to pause in between paragraphs? Of course. I even taught her how to read off a teleprompter flawlessly. Of course. The 10-second rule when you get on stage, of course. I never asked her, what is the source of your lack of confidence? If we had talked about the source of her lack of confidence, it may have been above my pay grade. I would probably have brought on a psychologist or whatever it is. We would have solved the source of her lack of confidence. So ultimately, the inability to speak, whether it's in the boardroom or whatever it is, it usually has nothing to do with the words that are coming off your tongue. The blacking or the blanking out usually has nothing to do with how prepared you are with your cue cards and your iPad. It usually has to be, and it usually is connected to that thing that is so deep in your soul and your mind. Sometimes it's ingrained from childhood. Sometimes it's an experience that you never got off. Sometimes it's a trauma that you thought, oh, with age, I'll get over it. But so my homework for you, and I said, this is one of the things that it sits in my heart so much. So now I don't teach how to speak because we all know how to speak. I try to teach how to understand the value of who you are. Because only then, that ownership, that's why I started with ownership. When you own who you are, whether it's broken, whether it's mended, whether it's high, whether it's low, when you own it, you see, you're the custodian of it. When somebody says, oh, your eyes are crossed, you can laugh because you've owned the fact that your eyes are crossed. So you can say whatever you want to say. Me, I know my eyes are crossed. It's not really an issue for me. I've owned that which you think is small or is negative. For me, it is how I am. Somebody said, oh, you failed. And I said, oh, yeah, okay. Yes, of course, I failed. I am not worried about the fact that I failed. It's in the past. But I used that failure to propel myself forward. So you can remind me that I failed. But right now, that failure for me has turned into fuel. Why? Because I own it. Somebody says, oh, you're not very good at this. Yes, I know. But that is why then I have Bernard, because I have weaknesses. I never said I know how to do everything. I have weaknesses, but I fill that weakness with people who have strengths in that weakness. I'm not trying to be strong all around. What am I? God? No, I'm not God. But if I know this particular thing is a weakness, I find the person who has that strength and I tag team. And so you can tell me, oh, Anita, that's a weakness. Yeah, no problem. Bernard will take care of it. So that blacking out, I bet you, is connected to some kind of trauma. It's connected to something that sometimes you don't even think about because life happens and you keep moving. You need to think, and for everybody on this call, when you say, I lack confidence, oh, Anita, I can't stand in front of an audience because I lack confidence. I respect it and I understand it. My first assignment to you would be try and go back as far back as the mind can remember and look for moments, times, pinpoint moments when maybe somebody said something, maybe you didn't do something, because for all of us, there's that something that is a point of trauma that we often sweep under the rug. But that little tiny trauma has its way of rearing its ugly head in moments when our mind and our body and our soul wants to overcome and be greater.
Wow. Again, I'm hooked again by that, and I've never viewed the people's public speaking blunders from the angle that you have viewed it at, and I'll carry that in my mentorship conversations I have with students. And because sometimes you speak to students and like, how did you do that? How were you able to figure out to answer the questions? And I'm seeing that the whys are deep. If we're not able to do it, and it's deeper than we think. And it takes a lot of vulnerability. It's been a wholesome conversation, and I don't know how many people close their eyes at some point during the conversations. It's been like a symposium, a sermon, a presentation. It's been a lot.
Bernard. You are
It's
something else.
it's been everything to it personally. And I feel like when I walk out of the room, I mean, somebody will smell leadership presence. Like, hey, this boy has been in the
Amen to that.
it's been in something like that. So we've had a wonderful time. Like, I'm not going to read too much of the comment, but I'll definitely tell that it's been so much. It's been insightful. I certainly owe myself more on these points. That's somebody's reflection that they feel that these points will definitely come alive and they are going to do from this. Before I come, maybe to give you a minute or two to wrap this up for us, I'll say that we put the socials in the chat box. You can tell that this particular session has helped you, has changed something in your mind, and DTI is on a journey. Is on a journey to empower Africa's workforce, and you can tell that this has been something that you've learned from. We encourage you to follow the socials, go on the socials that have been shared, follow the socials, tell a friend about it, tell a colleague. Sometimes just put the link up like I did, and then people, even with a decade's experience and more, are still touch basing with this, and it's transforming them. So we implore you to do that. People connecting from 3 hours to ahead, we are grateful you are here. Thank you so much. And it's been a wonderful conversation. I'm leaving with one thing to say, that my voice matters. My voice counts in impact in this world. I have a voice and I will use it to impact my world, to impact my generation. And I will not allow self-sabotage and self-doubt rid the world of the blessing that I am. So that's my take from this. And I will leave it with Anita to give us a summary. I see she's writing. I'll take my pen again, and then that's it.
No. Bernard, thank you so much. I have to thank you, say a big thank you to my big sister Nanaja for this opportunity, to the Drive to Inspire team, and all of you who've helped to put this together. Like I said, it is an honor for me. This is, whenever I show up in these places and I'm sharing, it is service, and it's an honor. You can't be a leader if you don't know how to serve. You can't inspire if you don't know what you own. You can't direct if you don't know your destiny blueprint. You can't guide if all you do is compare yourself to others. You can't lead. You can't thrive. You can't win if you don't know how to accept that which is not perfect. None of us can be who we are and go where we are on our own. It doesn't exist. I don't care what money you have. I don't care what power you have. There are people, and there's a system that upholds that power. There's a system, and there are people that uphold your dreams. So if you're getting on a journey, starting on a journey, continuing this journey, whatever, navigating this journey, know that it is okay to lean in and lean on to people that you trust. Know that it's okay to ask. Know that it is okay to say, you know what? I don't know. Can you help me? But also know that it's important for you to listen to people, pay attention to people, removing any kind of, almost that little tiny thing that makes you want to judge somebody because you think you're better than them. You are not better than anyone. I'm not better than you. Bernard is not better than anyone. We are literally all on the same wavelength. The only difference between you and somebody else is how you own what you own. And here I'm not talking about tangibility. I'm talking about your spirit. I'm talking about your mind. I'm talking about your dreams. I'm talking about your voice. Wherever you are, whether you are the starting point of your career, whether you're in the middle, or whether you're just about to navigate another space, know that there is power in evolution. And at every stage and at every corner, the best version of yourself is the one that's able to lean on, lean in, listen, learn. And the one that's able to be the most authentic. Authenticity is beautiful. Authenticity is power. And trust me, when you learn to be authentic, you sleep better at night. My name is Anita Erskine, and I'm happy to serve.
Thank you very, 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 very much. What a great summary to that as well. There's a voice screaming me, Anita. Thank you very much. And
Thank you. It's an honor.
Thank you to Nanaja and then the team. Thank you so much for what you're doing for us and for this platform as well. I'm grateful. Thank you to the team behind this. And Anita, thank you so much for making time
Thank you.
for being here.
God bless you. God bless us all. God bless us all.
God bless everyone. Thank you. And
Thank
cheers.
you. Cheers.
Bye to everyone. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye, Africa. Bye-bye, world. See you next time.